All right, welcome to day 3. We'll get started right away. It's probably going to be a shorter day. Sorry. I do want to apologize at some point. We will probably have a small interruption. My husband is home today and he is on a Zoom call downstairs. So he is oblivious to the time and he knows that I was supposed to be doing this. So he was supposed to be doing something else. So at some point he will walk upstairs and interrupt us. So I do apologize. I'll try and get through as much as I can. Hopefully his call lasts another 30 minutes and then there will be no interruption. Again, today is going to be a little shorter because tomorrow is going to be a little bit longer. Tomorrow we have our regular training and then there's a special announcement at the very end. And then Friday we'll have our regular training. I do want to start planning the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday trainings. So if anybody has any ideas, please feel free to reach out. We're going to start planning. I do know one that I want to kind of do, and that is work a little bit deeper on the negative to positive thinking and journaling, because I'm getting some messaging that journaling is something that's not comfortable with people. And as we've done human design and we do human design in my group programs, I know that sometimes it's the question itself in how it's asked. So if I can change the perspective of that question to help you journal more effectively, I will absolutely do that. I am casual today. I purposely wore a shirt that says perfectly imperfect because we're talking about routines and habits, and we're talking about negative and positive mindset. We're talking about things we like and don't like, and we put an immense amount of pressure on ourselves as women to be perfect, to portray that perfect lifestyle all the time. We'll compare ourselves to other people on Instagram or on social media and think, oh, their life is perfect. Why can't I have that life? Well, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. That's their highlight reel. We don't know everything that is happening to them. If you look at my socials, they look pretty glorious. You do get to see some of the nitty and gritty because I do share it. But I definitely don't share absolutely everything. When my children are sick, I don't necessarily share it unless it's something that they have allowed me, because that is one of those boundaries I've put in, that I will only post something that they are willing to share. And I only want to share it if it's actually going to benefit another family. If my child has a cold, I'm not going to mention it because that's not something that everybody needs to see. But when I go through things, I definitely am going to share those things. So as we talk today, you'll learn about my journey with COVID and how it actually shifted my morning routine for the better. So we'll jump right into it. I hope you guys have the workbook there. It was broken into 2. So there was 3 pages on one and 1 page on another. If you didn't get the other page, certainly let me know and I will go and fix that. For some reason, when I printed them off, it didn't go off properly. The one that's not there is just one to write down. So even if you have a scrap of paper, it's not gonna be the end of the world. So routines and habits. So these are the things that can set our goals apart from others. So if we establish solid routines and habits, it can change a lot of different things in our life. So if we're constantly just getting up, rushing out the door, not actually looking after any peace, then we're in a rush. We're naturally anxiety ridden for the rest of the day. So looking at your morning routine, as we will, and your night routine will actually help you establish better habits for yourself and maintain those routines and maintain whatever change you want to do. But I'm going to give the biggest piece of advice. Don't change everything all at once. Change one thing at a time, master it, figure it out, and then slowly change other things. It takes 21 days to create one new habit. So if you go and cut out coffee and you're also cutting out sugar at the same time, you're not going to stick to both. You're probably actually not going to stick to either because you're doing it all at once. So stick to one thing and go from there. And coffee is one of my favorite things. And last year I had to cut it out and it took me 4 months to really eventually cut it out. And it actually turned out that my body needed it. But that's all about burnout, and we can talk about that on Friday, or we can talk about burnout next week, or on the weekend, because burnout is something that I'm very passionate about. So our morning routine sets us for the day. I've already stated that if you get up, you check your phone, you eat your breakfast, you get the kids out the door if you have kids, and you rush out the door and you just keep going, you're gonna set yourself up for anxiety the whole day. And I know that sounds weird, but it is scientifically proven that if you hustle in the beginning of the day, you're actually setting yourself up for a big crash later on during the day, because you're using those adrenaline muscles, and then those adrenaline muscles have to go somewhere. So then you're going to have that crash. So if you slowly wake up, it is way more beneficial. I'm not saying, have 3 hours in the morning for yourself, because realistically, if you work in healthcare, you're going to be getting up already at 4 or 5 in the morning to get to your shift. I'm just saying, if you could have a set 15-20 minutes where it can just be you and Zen, would be preferred. I hear him muffling, so I do apologize. He is going to throw me off. It's not the ideal situation having him on a call at the same time. But what you choose to do in the morning is going to set you up for the day, and it's going to set you up for your week. So I myself, over COVID, realized that having the first 2 hours in my morning was the most beneficial for myself, doing absolutely zero work for that first 2 hours. I will have my coffee. I will hang out with my children a little bit, because both my children are slightly early risers. My daughter's not a morning person, but she gets up because she needs a couple hours before she can actually be a human. And it sounds bad to say it that way, but it's honestly true. If she doesn't have those couple hours to slowly process the day, she is miserable for the whole day. And so the whole house suffers. So we like her to naturally get up for those couple of hours so that she can actually properly function through the day. My son is a very early riser, although he is starting to shift into that teenagehood. So he has been sleeping in a little bit, but he has not needed an alarm clock until recently. He gets up at 5 a.m. because my husband has gotten up at 5 a.m. for years. Now that my husband's on evenings, it's kind of changed our routine a little bit, because I was getting up at 5. I was getting up at 5 and working until I went to work, which was a really bad routine for myself. It was very detrimental, because from 5 to 7, I had the biggest brain power. I had the most energy. So I would work and I would get a lot done, but I would still work the rest of the day. So I was actually doing myself more harm and burning myself out, having that kind of routine. So I still get up at 5:30, even though I don't have to. And I do 2 hours of just me time. Yes, my kids are here. Yes, we're going through our routines. They're getting ready for school and all of that. But I don't look at my phone. I don't look at my computer. I don't do anything but have coffee. I will watch a show with my son if he wants to watch a show. He loves the news in the morning. I will do my daughter's hair. I will chat with them. We'll do breakfast together, and then they will get out the door, and then I will do a small workout. So a workout is something I haven't been able to do for a long time. And it's certainly not the same workout or an intense workout that other people do. It is a light workout to slowly build back up to being able to properly work out. So that's what I do. And I meditate and I just go on with my day. I told you yesterday, I'd let you see my planner. I have this amazing planner. I fill it out every morning for my day. It's just trying to find my page. So you can see it's filled out for today. What it has in all of those columns is it has 3 gratitudes. So I write 3 things I'm grateful for that day. Today, my gratefulness was for coffee because I was exhausted. I'm going through a weird sleep pattern because I'm so excited for this week, and particularly today, which I can tell you in a little bit. So coffee was my best friend this morning. I was grateful for my pup because she protected us this morning because we had a wild cat in our yard and she scared him off. And that's the last thing you want, thinking of your kids going to school and there's this wild cat there. And the other thing was for being able to be here with you guys today. I'm very grateful to have the time to spend with you guys today. And then it has 3 affirmations. So today I wanted to say I'm strong, I'm confident, and I'm going to change the world. Now, the last one sounds a little cocky, if you want to say it that way, but it is my mission to help as many women as I can avoid everything I went through going from nurse to CEO. It's been an amazing journey. And yes, I've learned a lot, but it's also caused me burnout and stress and a lot of things that I had in nursing, but it's all been for the good. But I don't want other women to have to go through that if they don't have to. So if I can help you have a roadmap that is a little less stressful, but just as rewarding, that is what I want to do. I also want to set you guys up for success so you don't have to learn after the fact that you could have had certain things that would have helped you propel you earlier. And then there's a small to-do list in here. And then there's the schedule. There's a spot for you to journal. And there's also today I was productive. Tomorrow I will be relaxing. Not really, because tomorrow is a big day. But why is today a big day for us here in this household? I was just featured in a magazine because I decided to invest in myself and be a co-author in a book that will drop sometime in June. There's 365 co-authors altogether. And we share a little piece of our story to try and inspire other people to go after their dreams. So it's last edition had like Jan Arden, some of the bigger people. This year's it's 365 people. It's not all women like last year's. So it's a huge accomplishment. And because I was in that Fresh magazine, decided to feature all of the co-authors this year. So we got to write another piece that is going to be in a magazine, which is a huge step because PR is a good thing to promote your business. And it's the last thing I ever thought I would be writing a piece to go into a magazine. So it was a huge day. And the reason today's drop, because you got to choose the day you dropped, was because I met my husband exactly 16 years ago today, and he is my #1 supporter. He wasn't my #1 supporter when I left nursing, but he's absolutely my #1 supporter now. In fact, he was the one this morning when I was telling him, I think I'm just going to go lay down for another 30 minutes, saying, no, you want to be prepared. You want to be relaxed. You want to be able to deliver your workshop today. So make sure that you have everything ready because you're telling me yesterday technology wasn't your friend. So just go and play with technology to make sure that it's actually going to work today. So that is exactly what I did. In your workbooks, you will see you have homework. There's a visualization journal. I want you to walk yourself through those prompts. There's 4 prompts. One is what I liked today. One is what I didn't like today. One is what I could work on today. And I'm blanking on the third one, probably because I've been up early. But all of those 4 prompts are going to help you decide how your day was. And then moving forward, you could use that for the next 30 days. I challenge you to do it for the next 30 days to see if anything shifts, because you're going to be putting the positive and negative of your day in there. Slowly, that's going to change your mindset subconsciously without you even realizing, because today you might see your negative list is longer than your positive list. And slowly your positive list will be shorter or longer than your negative list. So if you work on those things, it's a good step forward. Obviously, I'm giving you a lot of information and a lot of things to change. Again, only change one thing at a time. So yes, use this visualization journal as your homework. If you find it useful, I do challenge you to do it for 30 days. But if you're changing something else in your morning or your evening or your daily routine, I suggest you only do the one piece. And I would love it if you shared it and tagged it with the 5-day challenge. So we do have a hashtag. It's called the #5-day career mindset shift challenge. So our evening routine is just as important as our daily routine. And I'm going to take a quick sip because I know I'm really rushing because I'm just so excited today. But yes, our evening routine is just as important as our daily routine. because if we don't have the proper evening routine, we won't get the proper sleep. We won't get the proper rest before we go into the next day. So we want to make sure that we're trying to eliminate a few different things. So as you see, I purposely chose a teenager who's on their computer because screen time has scientifically proven to stimulate your brain right before bed. So I usually suggest turning it off 30 minutes before. I know a lot of people will tell you a couple hours before, but 30 minutes before is best because that gives your brain time to shut down. So you can read a book, and it's weird that the screen will stimulate your brain, but the book won't stimulate your brain to keep you awake. The book will actually slowly, if you have the right book, will actually help you decompress and work into getting a good night's sleep. So for years, ever since my PTSD came back, my husband and I, when he was on days, had a routine of getting up or going to bed. He would lay and watch TV, and I would read a book on the other side. I would need him to fall asleep first, and then I would need him to sleep for exactly 30 minutes. So that usually was a 1-hour show. And the reason I needed him to sleep for 30 minutes is because he likes to snore. And I'm happy if he's not coming up right now. So that snoring would keep me awake. So at the 30-minute mark, for some reason, he would always have like a quiet snore, or it would like dull so I could fall asleep. So I needed him to watch TV because he fell asleep to TV. And I needed that 30-minute break so that I could actually focus on getting myself ready to go to sleep. I had to keep the TV on because if I turned it off, he would wake up. And subconsciously, I ended up watching the TV show half the time. So it actually messed with my nightly routine. When he started evenings, I noticed that I don't have the TV on in my bedroom at all at night. I go straight in there probably about 30 minutes before I'm going to go to bed, and I will read a book. I will just kind of rest or meditate. I've gotten really into meditation this year because it's really helped with my burnout. So that is, I don't know what's going on in behind. I'm getting a lot of dings and I do apologize. I thought I shut those off. But yeah, I just focus on going to sleep at night when I go in there, and it has been very helpful. The only thing that has not been helpful is I am a light sleeper ever since the PTSD. So when he does come home, I do wake up. So I do have to try and tweak my routine so that I get to bed slightly earlier so that I have a longer stretch of that Zen sleep. That is something we are currently working on. But I was just told today that he's probably going back to days in 2 or 3 weeks. So it might not be something I need to. Another thing about your routines is your routines have a direct impact on your habits. So if you're rushing in the morning and you're having that anxiety rush to get you through the morning, you're more likely going to actually eat more. In a recent study they showed, you're more likely going to consume more coffee in a day, which can also affect your health. You're also going to rely on that adrenaline rush throughout the rest of your day. So you're going to try and increase certain things to get that adrenaline. You're also probably not going to focus as much on the healthy habits. So having a healthy morning routine can actually set you up for not only your day, it can set you up for your health. So we are going to talk about our habits. We've kind of talked about habits throughout the whole thing, but having healthy habits helps you have a healthier lifestyle. I'm not telling you to go and work out every day. I'm not telling you to eat a proper diet every day, because I know we're all different and what we need is different. But I'm trying to tell you to focus on those healthy habits that you do have and try and limit those unhealthy habits so that you can have a better routine throughout the day. So one of the things I have been working on is actually getting rid of sugar. So I'm not a big sugar person, but somehow through the holidays, I started craving chocolate a lot more. Being the ex-nurse, I looked at myself, do I have diabetes? Do I have this? Do I have that? And I don't have any of those. It's just that was my bad habit creeping back in because the adrenaline was kicking back in because I wasn't listening to what my body needed. So again, change one habit at a time. So if you like, I know people, it's Friday night, they drink a lot on Friday nights, maybe cut it back a little bit or spread it out throughout a couple of days. I'm not saying becoming an alcoholic, I'm just saying limit it and slowly work on that piece. And you'll see if that stress and anxiety falls down. So that was one of the things that happened with my husband is he would drink Friday nights and he would have a little too much. And that would spill off into his next day where he wasn't productive. So then he didn't feel like he was actually having weekends. And then he started to have sleeping problems. So once we limited that, he's actually had a lot more progress and he's actually been able to shed those pounds because he now has the energy to go through. So look at all of your habits. So you have, I believe, a page there for self-care and a journal page for habits. Write down all of your habits and see if they're healthy or unhealthy. Some habits that people think are unhealthy for themselves or for others could actually be a healthy habit for you. So if sneaking that chocolate every once in a while actually gives you satisfaction in relaxing in a stressful event, keep it as a habit because it's actually producing those endorphins that you need. But if you're eating chocolate every day and it's not for like a reward or it's not for anything, you're just eating it, then maybe you want to limit it. So really look at your habits and what they're doing for your life. I'm not like an expert. I'm just saying all of the science and research that we have been working on is work on one habit, cut out the things that you don't want to be doing. Again, like you're not hungry, you're bored. I do notice that if I'm exhausted one day, like I am today, I am way more tempted to eat a lot more. And I have to step back and make sure that I don't do that because that's going to be more detrimental to what I'm wanting. My body is just wanting the fuel to feed the adrenaline, which I'm trying not to fuel because I went through burnout for so long. My body has run on adrenaline for so long that I have to reteach my body that it's not okay to have the adrenaline all day. It's actually why I gained a lot of weight because my body just needed that new thing all day. And I was feeding it with my habits and my routines. So you really want to focus on that. The last piece we'll touch on today, which is kind of a hot topic for some people, is self-care. So self-care in this world of hustle, because we are in a world of hustle. If you look back to how things were when I was, well, in the 80s, so when I was a teenager or child, it was not the same way as it is today. We are definitely in a world of hustle where you've got to be moving, you're overextended every single day, you're overworked, you're overbooked, you're scrolling, you're doing everything. Everything is hustle and everything is at your fingertips. So we have to kind of revert back. I remember growing up as a child, you couldn't get tomatoes in the winter because it wasn't in season. Now you can get tomatoes every day. So we're doing that with our life as well. So if I want to say, look up a cooking recipe and we don't have it, I can Google it. So I'm getting that instant gratification that we can try this recipe. I'm seeing good reviews, so we can easily do that, but we forget to actually take care of ourselves. So back in the day, you would end work, you would take care of the kids and you could unwind. There was no lots of TV, there was no computer, there was no phone, there's none of that. You would just actually take care of yourself. And somewhere along the line, we stopped doing that. And self-care was more of a treat instead of actually caring for yourself. So make sure to actually take care of yourself because that is so much more important than the hustle, because the hustle isn't going to get you through to live until you're 80. Taking care of yourself and your body and taking that time is. So if anybody makes you feel guilty for, say, taking an hour-long bath, remind them of everything that you do in a day, and that this is your moment to be just for you, to take care so that you don't burn out, so that you don't end up in the hospital, so that you don't end up injured, so that you don't end up wasting your days away doing everything for everybody else but yourself, and taking that toll out on your body. So self-care is a big topic right now. It is a hot topic because some people think that self-care should be a treat. People think that self-care is doing your hair and your nails, but it is actually just taking a 10-minute walk outside. It is taking a 10-minute break away from everything. It is maybe sitting alone in your car for that extra 5 minutes before you go into the house. That is self-care because you're thinking about yourself. It is not selfish to think about yourself, because we often as women spend the whole day thinking about everybody else but ourselves. It is not selfish to think of ourselves. So that's what we have today. Any questions? I know I went through it fast. Since we don't have a lot of live people, I had planned polls. So maybe next time we'll have more people so we can be a little more interactive, because I know listening to a Zoom can actually be a little bit boring. So yeah, tomorrow we are going to be talking about, just going to double check that I have it correct, because the last thing I want to do is misquote myself. Again, I have been up since super early. So movement and decompression and the reasons you should be doing them, and the fact that they don't have to be running a marathon. They can just be small movements and decompression. And so we will be talking a lot about burnout as well tomorrow in that piece. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.